who is this God? Who is this God? I want to hear from you all. Who is God? And don't just say his name. But what do you see him as? Is he, for example, the man upstairs? Is that what you call him? Is he, come on, give me some.
Our Father.
Our Father, what?
Redeemer.
Redeemer? Creator? Okay.
Superstar.
What?
He's a superstar.
Superstar. Haven't heard that one in a while.
Provider.
All right. I dare say that there might be some in this room who really don't know who he is. And I'm not pointing you out. I'm saying I've been there. And I grew up in a Christian home. You know what? I came to this realization that I don't want to just accept what people have told me. But do you know the saving reality that I realized? Was I don't want to stay there not knowing. I want to know. I want to know the truth. You see, it's easy to say, this is what I believe. But that doesn't help you much. Unless you're believing the truth. You can say that you believe that a tree is purple, but it doesn't make it purple. People can say that they believe that happiness is their God, but it doesn't mean that it works. I dare you tonight to ask yourself some hard questions. But I plead with you tonight to know that the God of the Bible wants you to know him worse than you could ever want to know him. And Christian, I'm talking to you too. Get this. Love your face. Get this. Much of my life, I had heard the story of Jesus. And I could have told you, I went to Bible college, I could have told you all about how great God was. I could have told you all the theological terms. I could have told you about grace. I could have told you about love. But for some odd reason, I felt like there was a ceiling. And that was as far as I could get with God. And I want to tell you, in this last couple of years, God has completely pulled that ceiling apart and said, Amy, for the rest of your life, you just focus on getting to know me. I promise you won't be bored. I promise you don't know me. All that I want you to know me. You see, I was going around, and I'll never forget, I think I was in like Germany or something, and I remember sitting in a closet because, again, I was right before speaking, just scribbling out little notes and everything like that, and the closet was the only place I could find alone. And I remember sitting there going, So I guess this is all there is. I guess I just tell people what God's already done in my life. And I remember just feeling like, bummer. And yet this empty, is that reality? I sure hope not. And yet I don't know how to go further. You know what I realized? I'm an imposter if I'm telling these people that God is so great and God is so beyond our comprehension. And that our minds are like little boxes. And He is infinite. He is outside of our box. And our minds can only go against this box. Eternity, we don't understand. Love forever, we just can't understand. Because He's so outside of our box. And I thought, if I don't even believe that, then what am I doing? And so you know what I realized? I need to study who God says He is. I need to study the character of God. And that study has started blowing me away. And you know what? I'm so hungry that I've decided that I can't get to all of it, so I'll have to study it the rest of my life. So I'm never going to finish. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know what? Every day is new. Do I have hard days? Yeah. My life is nothing out of the ordinary. But I can tell you, I am so in love with Jesus that I just can't get enough of it. And I can tell you that I can't describe to you how good he is. And I can't describe to you how close you can be to him. You gotta experience it. I could hold some chocolate up for you and say, oh man, this is good. And all you'd say is it looks brown and dark and hard until you taste it. And that is the lowest explanation, but I knew you'd get it. Who is this God? A child was once asked, why is there but one God? Pretty much asking the kid, like, is there really just one God? And the child answered, because God fills every place and there's no room for another one. You can't reason away agreeing to the truth. Let me take that back. You can reason away agreeing to it. But you can't reason away truth. You know, I am so shocked at how many people stop right at the point of, this is what I believe. Even as a Christian. But even worse than that are the people that say, I don't want to know because I've already figured it out. If you figured it out, then let me in on what you've learned. Because I'm standing before you saying, I'm here teaching the Word of God in places all over the world and I haven't figured it all out. And I'm glad that I finally realized that. Because there is a freedom in saying, I am a child. There is a freedom in saying, God, I don't know. There is a freedom in saying, God, I don't have to know because you do. There's a freedom. You know that verse in Galatians 5:1 that says, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. You see, it wasn't just that he wanted us to know him and he wanted us to come into a relationship with him. He set us free for freedom. There's more. There is more. There is more. It's not about how we see him, is it? It's really about who he is. To those of you in the room that say, I don't want to believe that there is just one God. It's okay. And it's okay, and I'm saying as this person is saying this, it's okay that everyone just finds their own way. Everyone can believe in the God that works for them. That doesn't work in any part of life. Can you say a car can run on whatever you feel like it should run on? It can run on your trash, or it can run on whatever, and I know that illustration is kind of faulty, but it doesn't work with anything. You can't say, well, I believe I can eat cement, and you believe you can eat food, and I believe that I can stay alive with nothing. And no, there's one way that things work. There's reason in all of creation. It makes sense. Who is this God? Who is this God? Truth isn't relative. It's not like just for you, you have your own truth and you have your own truth. God doesn't make it that way. There are several verses that I could share, and you obviously know where I'm coming from. Jesus has changed my life, so he's really who I want to talk about. But there were a couple of different little things that I was reading about. There's one right here that I wanted to read to you. Bear with me a second. Here it is. Someone once said, Buddha never claimed to be God. Moses never claimed to be Jehovah. Muhammad never claimed to be Allah. Yet Jesus Christ claimed to be the true and living God. Buddha simply said, I am a teacher in search of truth. Jesus said, I am the truth. Confucius said, I never claimed to be holy. Jesus said, who convicts me of sin? Muhammad said, unless God throws his cloak of mercy over me, I have no hope. Muhammad said that. Unless God throws his cloak of mercy over me, I have no hope. Jesus said, unless you believe in me, you will die in your sins. You can't say who is God and really be in a genuine search of God without facing who is Jesus. You just can't. You can't believe in God and not believe in Jesus. So what are we going to do with Jesus? Napoleon, first I want to read something to you. I love this book! I love it! It's the best ever. All right, here we go. I'm going to read to you in Acts 17. This amazing story, but first I got to tell you where it starts, okay? So here is Paul. How many of you know who Paul is? Anybody ever heard of Paul? All right, Paul was one of the most persecuted Christians in the Bible, but he was also a total against Jesus at the very beginning. And his name was Saul then. And then God totally took him on this journey. I mean, he was literally so bad that he was persecuting Christians. He was the one killing them. He was a Hebrew of Hebrews. He was educated in everything from when he was 12 on up. He was of the tribe of Benjamin. He was the man. And then God took him on the road to Damascus. You'll hear people say that. It was just a road that God took him on, and God blinded him with scales and showed him who he was and said, why are you persecuting me? And he became a follower of Jesus all just because of what Jesus did. Now, Paul is very educated, okay? So he comes to Athens, Greece, and I happen to just have been there. And I actually got to go to this place right here. It's called Mars Hill. And in this one place, it was a rock, okay? So picture this rock. This is where he's talking right now. And there's this rock that you have to climb up, literally climb up, and then it overlooks everything in the city. And these men, the Areopagus is what they were called, used to come up there and just talk about, hey, who do you think God is? Hey, what do you think the newest thoughts are? Hey, what do you, and they just had time for this. I don't know. Back then they did. Now, while Paul was waiting for them at Athens, so he was waiting on some other people that were coming with him. This is in Acts 17:16. His spirit was provoked within him as he saw the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. Some of the Epicurean and Stoic philosophers also conversed with him, and some said, What does this babbler wish to say? Others said, he seems to be a preacher of foreign divinities, because he was preaching Jesus and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him to the Areopagus, saying, May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting. For you bring some strange things to our ears. We wish to know, therefore, what these things mean. Now all the Athenians and the foreigners who lived there would spend their time in nothing except telling and hearing something new. Now get this. So Paul, standing in the midst of the Areopagus, said, Men of Athens, I perceive that in every way you are very religious. For as I passed along and observed the objects of your worship, I found also an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God. What therefore you worship as unknown, this I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by man, nor is he served by human hands, as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling